Welcome everyone to another video by the Range Pro T Guy. Today I'm going out in my little hoopty here and I'm going to do some fishing in Palm Valley. A lot of the things I talk about today, the way I fish, the way I do the things I do, they pretty much pertain to anywhere I fish around in this area. And they work with natural bait or lures. So as always, go to my website www.rangeprot.com. Get yourself a Range Pro T as you enjoy the sights and sounds of Palm Valley, Florida. So here's what I like to see when I'm looking for redfish and I think that I know where they're going to be. There's some structure here. Do you see it? That's where there's an oyster bar right underneath. I know because I've been here before. And if you drop your line anywhere in this area out here and you let it bounce through this area right here and all along this edge here, as far as you can go, doesn't matter as long as you can keep it about 2 to 3 feet. Less than 2 feet is optimum from the shore. As soon as it starts to pull away from you because of the angle, you're done. But this is what I like to see when this is what it looks like for me when I think there's redfish down there waiting. Same thing applies with this spot. Current's coming from this direction, this way. So I'm gonna run it along this this oyster bar here. See if I can catch something. There's a deep hole right here, and as you run along here there's fish right around this area. There's also a lot of vermilion snapper, they call them, so they'll take your bait immediately. We'll see how this works out. Look at that bad boy. Just got him in that little area right over there. I'm gonna go ahead and start filming this little fishing adventure real quick. See if I can catch any more. First red of the day. There he is. Very nice. Get him in here. Like I said, I like to tap this on the bottom as he gets stuck. I could feel him get stuck. He just got stuck there. Bouncing off the bottom. He's not trying to get away, which means that nothing's chasing him. We'll see. You don't jerk it out like a bass. You pull solidly, like slowly. Like once it gets tension, you kind of just pull against the tension. You'll see it here in a minute. I'll post it on one of the videos. So you want to land this guy right along the edge, within 2 feet of that edge. Now he's pulling my line. Now I'm going to pull away from him. A good one. I don't jerk it because he's already on. Jerking it will pull him off. This guy is right at 18, but we're gonna let him go. I know I've tried to explain what I'm doing while I fish, but here's a little example. I didn't catch a fish on this run, but as you can see, I'm trying to stay with the current as I reel, and every time you see a little jerk, it's when the fish gets caught on a little oyster, and I'll leave him there for a little bit just to see what happens, but then I'll jerk him off. Well, that sounded awful, but you know what I mean. But I'll try to stay with that smooth, rhythmic, until I feel like it's too far away from the shoreline, more than 2 feet, and I'll drag it in. This method works with all fish. I've caught everything from bluefish, redfish, flounder, trout, sea trout. Anything bites with this method in this location. Right here I'm pulling in a flounder, and you can feel those guys snatch onto it, and the pull from those guys is a little different. You feel a snap, and then you gotta let them have it for about 10 to 15 seconds, and then you haul them out of the water. Flounder's done. As you can see, it landed about 2 feet away from the edge. Same method. And you can almost feel when the fish grabs it in their mouth, and there's that slow haul away that I was talking about. You don't want to jerk it out of their mouths. But here comes another redfish. And when there's one redfish, there's a lot of redfish. There's a lot of fish down there. Again, I'll talk about the distance from the shore is so important. If you're not 2 feet or less from the shore, you're not going to catch anything. And you can pretty much feel a lot of stuff with the rod and everything that I have on here. And I'll put the equipment that I'm using down here. But here I felt the fish on. I'm waiting for him to swim away. And you'll see the tip of the rod pull before I put pressure and put it into his mouth. I never ever jerk the rod when I'm doing this, but I'll go ahead and put my rig in here because it's by far one of the best that I've used. And even when I take a cold amateur and give him one of these rods, he can catch a fish. That thumbs up was, I knew it was a big fish. It's about a 24-inch redfish, and it's hauling pretty good. You'll see as I drag him up here, the wind seems, I'm trying to film this stuff and somebody's against me on this one, because as soon as I drag that sucker out, boom goes my phone off the center console. So that's the end of this clip. This is a fish I caught on another day. I don't know what swims in 2 feet of water that's gonna bit the tail off, but it did. Also, knowing where the fish are is nice. Here's a little clip of my son catching a little redfish in a school. I toss the bait out there. He sits there a couple seconds. He catches a redfish. No problems. I really enjoy life out here on the water, and my son enjoys it the same way. He's been dying to get into this video or a video of mine for months, so here he is introducing my son Ashton. He's quite a character, but we live a good life here in Florida and enjoy everything. Last but not least, here's my son. It's good to be a gangsta.